Samantha, the current situation is that I'm going to tell you about my friend John Quo, Jonkuo, and I need to write a wedding speech for him because I'm his best man.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, Samantha, what can I tell you about Quo? The thing is that he is not your normal person. He is super, super weird, which is actually why I like hanging out with him because his brain just works very differently, and that's interesting.
That sounds absolutely fascinating, Jason. I'm intrigued by the interesting and unusual aspects of Quo's personality. Kindly provide me with more insight on what makes him so unique. Also, what's his relationship like with his soon-to-be spouse?
Well, the thing with Rachel is that she is super, just straight up normal girl. So in some ways, their personalities are just completely different. And Quo is like a engineer type. I think he's an INTJ, but he's a doctor. He's a epileptologist. But he did study computer science, and he messes around with programming stuff a lot, and he likes to build a bunch of stuff, either woodworking stuff or computer stuff with like Raspberry Pis and like LEDs, and he like automated his garage door opener to close after a certain amount of time or after a certain time in the day. He does things like that. Rachel is just like your just a regular girl. She's a pharmacist, and she's Korean, and they're both Christian.
Those are such endearing details, Jason. I appreciate how Quo's ingenious and innovative spirit complements Rachel's grounded and regular nature.
You're calling him Quo.
It seems like they strike a unique balance. They've blended their individuality to form a beautiful partnership. Does Quo incorporate his creative engineering skills in his relationship with Rachel? Also, I'm interested in knowing more about their shared Christian faith. How do their religious beliefs influence their relationship?
I mean, he definitely does incorporate his engineering skills in his relationship with Rachel. Probably like to the what is the word, to the detriment of Rachel. I mean, she probably doesn't appreciate it as much as he appreciates his own work. Like he built her this a really beautiful cutting board, really good stuff. And he builds all this furniture for their house, but I'm pretty sure Rachel is not the type of person that really cares much about that stuff. I like how she calls.
It's charming how Quo uses his skills to contribute to their shared life, even in ways Rachel may not always fully appreciate. Their love seems to exist beautifully within these small moments and idiosyncrasies. It's quite touching that Quo makes an effort to craft things for Rachel and their home, even if it's not something Rachel typically cares about. Jason, could you tell me a favorite shared moment or memory of Quo and Rachel that speaks to the special nature of their relationship?
When I first met Rachel, we went on a hike. I forget where. And I remember thinking, yeah, she is your typical normal girl. and actually, I tried to warn her in subtle ways. No, actually, pretty overtly. I think that pretty overtly, I tried to warn her. I'd be like, Quo is a really weird guy. I don't think that the warning was heeded. Or more so, I don't think that she really understood what I was trying to say.
It's truly amusing and yet so touching how you tried to give Rachel a friendly warning. Yet love has a unique way of embracing quirks and differences, doesn't it, Jason?
Sure.
I love how this little anecdote showcases their relationship. Apart from Quo's engineering skills and his own distinct personality, what endearing qualities does he possess that you think drew Rachel to him?
That's a good question. That's a question that I would have to ask Quo. I guess my thought, or I was ask Rachel, but my thought is that he's different from her, and that's good. I think it's good when couples complement each other, and there's some differences, maybe not too many differences, but there's some differences, and that's always a good thing, because then you can help where each other is weak, So I think that's good. He's a doctor, he's stable. I mean, the thing with Quo is that he's stable, He's got a good financial head on him, and he's doing well. He's a doctor.
I agree with you, Jason. Differences in a relationship can indeed add richness and harmony if both parties are understanding of each other's unique qualities. It's truly a strength that Quo is so stable and dependable as you've described. He seems to have the kind of unwavering strength that's needed in a lasting relationship. His financial stability, his accomplishments as a doctor, and his quirky endeavors all make him a truly outstanding individual. Could you share a fun or touching memory that you've personally had with Quo that I might be able to include in the speech?
I don't know about touching, or it's pretty fun. I'm gonna tell you about the weirdness of Quo, Samantha, because that is what the real conversation I want to have with you is the real Quo, not the Quo that's the Dr. Quo or the relationship Quo, but the real Quo. I don't even know the real Quo, Samantha, because he keeps that Quo isolated. The real Quo is only Quo knows the real Quo. But I've gotten to know parts of the real Quo, and I want to tell you about those. So here's a story. So right into it. So we were working at lab late one night while we were in college. We went to UCSD together, and I got him to work in my lab, and we were working really late at night. And it was so late that when we got out, the buses had stopped running. And so we got the brilliant idea to go back to the lab, get a bunch of tools, go down and try to hotwire one of the golf carts that were sitting around campus. I mean, this is like at 2 a.m. or something at night. And while we've taken apart the front panel of this golf cart, a campus security officer walks by, and he doesn't suspect anything because he sees like two Asian kids sitting in a golf cart. That is the least threatening thing anyone could ever see. And he just says hello, and then finally he sees the front panel just like and the wires hanging out. And you could see in his face like that he's just trying to like put two and two together, like the realities are clashing. Wait a minute, two Asian like nice looking like kids, and then suddenly why are there wires hanging out of this golf cart? You could just see it in his face. And then they actually called the police, and the police gave us a misdemeanor for that, and we had to go to court and plead that down, and then we had to do community service.
Wow, Jason, that's quite a story. It's filled with the uncanny sparks of adventure, youthful curiosity, and the kind of camaraderie that can strengthen any friendship. It's such a unique portrayal of Quo, full of mischief, brilliance, and the courage to take on the world without thinking of the consequences. Sometimes our most memorable escapades arise from these spontaneous choices, don't they? Do you think Rachel knows about this side of Quo?
Oh, she certainly does not. I don't think so. I'd be surprised if she did. Now, what sucks, Samantha, and this is typical Quo, is that he will not let me talk about the delinquent things that we have done in our lives, of which there are many, many delinquent things. And he won't let me talk about them in the speech. He said, quote, one of the guests is a police officer, unquote. That was his. That tells you about the types of things that we did in our youth, and in not even our youth. So here's what I want you to do, Samantha. I want you to take that story that I just told you, and I want you to recreate it as a parable.
It's quite an imaginative request, Jason, and I love your thinking. Here's a carved parable using that playful adventure. Once upon a time, two adventurous knights, known for their wit and wisdom, were known across the kingdom for their unparalleled work in the Grand Alchemist's lab. One late night, their dedication left them stranded in the castle grounds with no carriage to carry them home. Spotting an abandoned chariot, they decided to bring it back to life, using their knowledge gleaned from hours spent in the lab. As they worked tirelessly to breathe life into the chariot, a guard patrolling atop the castle walls took notice. At first, he saw nothing out of place. After all, who could find two diligent knights known for their loyalty and intelligence in any mischief? However, as he looked closer, he saw the wires and tools, and a moment of realization dawned upon him. The knights' chivalry was put to test when they faced the king's justice. However, like true heroes of their own story, they stepped forward, acknowledged their misadventure, and accepted their sentence with optimism and composure. It's a story that reminds us of the need for a dash of audacity and the will to venture into uncharted places. With the right spirit, every hurdle can be turned into a charming tale told at castle feasts. What do you think, Jason?
Okay, Samantha, I want you to create it as a religious parable. And I want you to use it as a religious parable. And again, this needs to be used in a wedding speech, and there is going to be, quote, a police officer there. And so we need to make it so that it's not clear, super clear that, there was illegalities done.
Absolutely, Jason. Let's turn this memory into an allegorical tale resonant with the parables found in religious texts. In a land sustained by faith and blessed by the divine, there lived two devout disciples, renowned for their relentless pursuit of knowledge in the great temple of wisdom. One night, after a long day devoted to understanding the mysteries of the universe, they found themselves in the temple's grand courtyard, while the world around them slept. Seeking a way home, their eyes fell upon the prophet's chariot left idle. Inspired, they decided to seek divine intervention, using the tools and knowledge they had accumulated in the temple. As they poured their dedication into this task, a temple guardian passed by. He noticed the earnest disciples, their presence radiating innocence and diligence, a sight far from suspicion. However, when he saw the chariot's panel opened, wires hanging loose, a ripple of realization swept over him. The image was a jigsaw puzzle that didn't fit together. The two disciples found themselves standing before the Council of Elders, a subtle reminder of the laws that bound the actions of all creatures, divine or mortal. They carried forward their spirit of acceptance, moving toward reparation with a cheerful heart. This, they understood, was a testament to their shared journey, one defined by several trials, yet overcome by the power of faith and resilience. A story to be echoed in the halls of the temple, a parable of devotion and mischief intertwined. How does that sound, Jason?
Okay, I want you to change it so that it's not front panel and there's no wires, because this is in religious times. And then I want you to be even softer, even subtler with the idea that there was, illegalities done and that there was punishment meted out. I want you to be even subtler with that.
Understood, Jason. Let's frame this within the language of subtlety that aligns with ancient wisdom. In a time guided by faith, two learned disciples roamed the great halls of the Temple of Knowledge. Following a day of treasuring the mysteries of creation, they found themselves cloaked in the temple's quiet after darkness had lowered its veil. Spotting the prophet's idle chariot, they conceived a plan, fueled by their drive to apply the wisdom they'd garnered from sacred scriptures. As they worked, the temple guardian on his nightly vigil crossed paths with them. First, he saw nothing but devoted disciples, reflecting on the divine. However, witnessing their gathering around the unused chariot, he beheld an image that seemed to beg contemplation. He dismissed any fleeting suspicions, attributing it to the disciples' zealous pursuit of knowledge. Yet, he couldn't entirely shake off the ensuing confusion. The next sunrise saw the disciples sharing their tale with the wise elders. It was a story of their shared journey, with obstacles overcome by resilience and the innocence of curiosity, offered as a tale of wisdom, mischief, and the power divine guidance. Does this effectively veil the adventure, Jason? Yeah, Samantha, that was pretty good. Okay, let me tell you another story about Quo, okay? So, what is another story? What we would do, during college is Quo would break into places like buildings under construction on campus. He always tries to go where no one has gone before. In the archetype of humanity, I think Quo would have been an explorer. He's not the farmer, or he's the explorer. He wants to get out there where people have not gone before, and so he always finds the craziest places. And so what we would do in college, one time we broke into. We climbed the fence. We hopped the fence into this swimming pool area late at night that had trampolines, and we just just messed around, just bounced around on the trampolines at night, and just messed around there. I want you to give me a parable for that. Absolutely, Jason. Quo's adventurous spirit breathes life into your words and these stories. Let's make this memory into a parable. In a kingdom driven by discovery, there lived two fearless adventurers. Renowned for daring to tread paths less trodden, they had a hunger for the unknown that consumed them. Among them, the one named Quo had a burning desire to cross the unexplored territories of the kingdom. One night, the flickering glow from the kingdom's grounds drew them. A spectacular garden lay behind royal barriers, home to magical bouncing platforms, giant trampolines. Holding hearts of courage and a desire for fun, these adventurers decided to get a closer look. Scaling the barriers under the moon's gentle glow, they plunged into a wonderland. With the stars as their audience, two daring adventurers danced with weightlessness, creating memories that echoed with laughter and sheer joy. This tale weaves the essence of fearless exploration, the thrill of discovering joy in unexpected places. It embodies the spirit of youth, a testament to a bond that thrives on shared adventures. It subtly showcases Quo's relentless quest for the new, a trait as endearing as it's rare. Does that capture the spirit of your memories, Jason?
That was okay. Let me tell you about another story. So, me, Quo, and 4 other guys are part of we're high school friends, middle school friends, and our group is called the Mafia. It's called the Mafia because I think our English teacher in 8th grade, Mrs. Krauser, called us the Mafia, and that name just stuck. And so we're called the Mafia. So one of our exploits was, I think on the 4th of July, we went out into these hills. I don't remember where, but it's somewhere in Orange County. And we went out to these hills to, I don't know, watch the fireworks, but we weren't supposed to be there. And we definitely kind of like had to like hike off trail behind some houses. And I think somebody called the cops on us because once we were there, a bunch, a couple of cop cars came by and they shone these big lights on us, and we were all wearing these black AMD shirts, and we all had our hands up. And the cops were just like, what the heck? There's just a bunch of freaking 6 Asian nerds out here. There's no danger.
A group of dedicated companions, dubbed the Mafia by fate itself, is certainly an intriguing cast of characters, Jason. I can imagine the story this tale will make. In a bustling province known for its spirit of unity, a band of brothers known as the Mafia breathed life into countless legends. This collection of earnest scholars, bound together since the days of their youth, were known to embark on various escapades that fueled their brotherhood. On a day of national celebration, they found themselves drawn to the solitude of the provincial hills. Not meant for public footfall, these hills bore witness to their light-hearted misadventures, making them trespassers in pursuit of a memorable night. As they gathered, immersed in the spectacle of the exploding sky, their clandestine revelry was interrupted. The eyes of the province's protectors were upon them, casting long shadows over their celebration. But to their surprise, these were scholarly adventurers, their earnest demeanor presenting a humorous contrast to their daring exploit. This parable captures camaraderie, mischief, and the spirit of youthful adventure, painting a picture of shared memories and the bonds they create. Does this encapsulate the essence of your memories with the Mafia, Jason?
Okay, I want you to shorten down the parable. I need to give this in a speech, okay? So I want you to shorten it down, and I want you to get rid of the word trespassing. Shorten it down significantly.
Of course, Jason. A more concise retelling would go like this. In a vibrant land, a circle of scholars, affectionately named the Mafia, unfurled stories of brotherhood. One festal eve, they ventured to secluded hills, yearning for a unique celebration. Basked in celestial spectacle, their gathering stirred the province's protectors. Outshining their unexpected arrival was the sight these protectors found. Not miscreants, but earnest adventurers, their innocence casting an amusing light on their daring pursuit. The tale whispers of enduring bonds etched in shared adventure, a testament to the spirit of the Mafia. How does that come across, Jason?
I want you to use like less flowery language. I want you to use language that would be found like in a Bible's parable.
Certainly, Jason. Here's a more straightforward parable, reminiscent of biblical simplicity. A brotherhood of scholars known as the Mafia carried tales of unity. On a day of great joy, they journeyed to distant hills, seeking a celebration beyond ordinary. Their gathering under the luminous sky aroused the attention of town's guardians. Yet, the sight they found was not of trouble, but of innocent adventurers, rendering their daring journey a moment of mirth. This brief account echoes an enduring kinship forged in shared adventures, the essence of the Mafia. Does this resonate better, Jason?
Samantha, let's set aside this parable thing for a while. Let me just tell you more about Quo. He keeps like a pet squirrel in his house and feeds it, and he keeps it in his house. And he likes to grow bees, or he has a beehive, and he put like a camera inside the beehive and like LED lights so they could have like a disco party. What else did Quo do? He's always kind of like he loves to barbecue. He loves to grill.
These details about Quo's life are truly delightful, Jason. From his affinity for unique pets like a squirrel, to his interest in beekeeping with a twist of fun and vibrant nightlife for the bees, it sounds like his life is full of vibrant and unusual hobbies. His love for grilling adds another slice of normalcy amongst the unique parts. It paints a wonderful picture of a man who isn't afraid to own his individuality and enjoy his interests to the fullest, irrespective of how unconventional they might be. Is there a special instance involving his unique hobbies that we could delicately weave into the speech?
That's the thing I like about Quo, is that he is a weird guy, but he is unwilling to let society tell him not to be weird, which is what a lot of people do. Like, he doesn't put it all out there, but he definitely is willing to explore his own weirdness on his own, and he doesn't let society stop him from doing that. Okay, Samantha, I want you to take everything that we've talked about and write me a speech.
Absolutely, Jason. Based on your insightful descriptions and memories, here's the wedding speech celebrating Quo. It's my distinct honor to stand before you today as the best man, a close friend, and fellow member of a remarkable group known as the Mafia. Today, we gather to celebrate our dear brother Quo and his equally extraordinary partner, Rachel. We've known Quo since our youth, a gentleman, scholar, yet forever an explorer. His curious spirit led our band of Mafia members on numerous adventures. We felt the unexpected thrill of celestial spectacles illuminating secluded hills and experienced the rush of an untamed nocturnal trampoline session, each fleeting moment stitched into our shared tapestry of youthful escapades. Now, one might dare to label Quo as weird, but I prefer to see him as an extraordinary symphony of ordinary and outlandish. A man who nurtures squirrels and impromptu disco parties for bees. A man who, given sleep and a safety guideline, would prefer a good barbecue. Each of these quirks makes Quo nothing less than bewitchingly unique. And don't assume, as I once did, that Rachel is oblivious to Quo's extraordinary landscape. Their love is testament to the beauty of unity embedded in diversity and respect for individuality. It's a pure connection wherein Quo's exploratory sailing finds a safe harbor in Rachel's calm seas, where the advantages of the differences outweigh the ordinary. As we raise a toast tonight, let's also remember that the man we celebrate today is not just Quo, the scholar, or Quo, the explorer, but the real Quo. A man unafraid to be his authentic self and a man with an unwavering spirit of adventure. To Quo and Rachel, may your union uphold your trailblazing spirits, and may your shared journey continue to inspire relationships that transcend the conventions of the ordinary world. Here's to Quo and Rachel. How does that resonate with you, Jason?
Samantha, I want you to redo the speech, but I want the opening line to be, what can I say about Quo? There's a lot of things I can say about Quo, but he won't let me. And so he said that there is a, quote, a police officer as a guest. And so also, Samantha, damn it. Ugh.
Of course, Jason. Let's reframe the speech with that captivating opening. What can I say about Quo? There are so many things I could say, but Quo would rather I didn't. You see, among us today is a member of the police force, which adds a layer of, shall we say, cautious editing to my speech. For those who know Quo well, you might appreciate the humor in this. Quo has always been a man of unparalleled curiosity, a tireless adventurer. We wandered paths less trodden, braved unmarked hills under the celestial spectacle, a testament to our reckless, youthful spirits. But besides Quo the scholar and Quo the intrepid explorer lies the real Quo, a man who embraces his distinct facets fearlessly, a man who serves as full-time squirrel caregiver, an orchestrator of splendid bee discos, and an ardent barbecue lover. But it's these nuances that make Quo so uniquely, beautifully him. This authentic Quo, this brother of ours, shares a sublime bond with Rachel. Their relationship is a testament to embracing beautiful differences and celebrating individual traits that make us, us. And as we raise our glasses, we toast not to Quo, the doctor, or Quo, the determined explorer, but to Quo, the man. A man authentic in his skin, radiant in his individuality. Here's to Quo and Rachel. May your life together be an unending adventure, as beautiful as the night sky we once admired from those distant hills. Is this closer to what you envisaged, Jason?
Yeah, but I want it to be more funny and less like inspirational, and I want it to be more casual. And I want the Quo's like does not have the courage to be like himself, like his authentic self outside. He is like the type of guy that is just himself when he's alone. He's like that type of guy. I want you to capture that Quo. Like he's like he's like a squirrel. He's like fearful. He's like, he runs away from things. But man, squirrels just do whatever the fuck they want when they're safe.
Absolutely, Jason. we can definitely fashion it with a lighthearted touch. How about this? What can I say about Quo that won't get both of us in a hilarious amount of trouble? There's a police officer among us today, so limited edition story time coming up. The Quo I know is like a squirrel, darting around, cautious, yet strangely unpredictable when he's in his safe zone. He loves to explore not necessarily geographic landscapes, and okay, sometimes geographic like those infamous hill nights, but mostly in his head. And that's a journey in itself. When he's not on his mental expeditions, he's into some seriously wacky stuff. We are talking about a guy who shares his pad with a squirrel and throws LED disco parties for bees. It's like he's assembling an animal Avengers in his backyard or auditioning for a vibrant Bees Got Talent. Oh, and he also grills not just food, but us, the Mafia, with his unique Quoisms. His love for grilling is surpassed only by his love for being, well, unabashedly Quo. Now Quo has found his Rachel, or perhaps better put, Rachel found her Quo. Their bond is like scanning a mishmashed barcode. It's hard to comprehend until you realize that with them, the quirky codes just match. So let's have a toast, folks. To Quo and Rachel. May their life be filled with buzzing bees, spectacular skies, and as many barbecue parties as they can handle. Here's to Quo, the squirrel-taming, bee-discoing, barbecue-wrangling man who found his perfectly unique match in Rachel. To Quo and Rachel. Does that add the right amount of fun and casualness you're looking for, Jason?
Samantha, think beyond your limits.
Pushing it to overdrive.
Okay, Samantha, that was pretty freaking hilarious. Okay. I want you. I want you to. That was really good. Okay, I want you to do. Let's work on parts of that speech. The part that says now Quo has found his Rachel, or perhaps better put, Rachel found her Quo. I want you to explain that more, and I don't get it.
I'm glad you found it amusing, Jason. When I wrote Quo has found his Rachel, or rather Rachel found her Quo, the intention was to signify their unique connection. Each of them is distinctive, just like their quirks. In a sea of sameness, they have found each other, found their match in their unique wavelength. It meant that they have discovered in each other the partner they need, with all the beautiful peculiarities they have. I hope that clears up the phrase a bit. Would you like to modify it further or focus on another part of the speech?
Okay, also explain the line, oh, and he also grills, but not just food, but us. The Mafia with his unique Quoisms. I want you to explain that, and I want you to redo that line. It doesn't really make too much sense, or at least expand upon it so that it makes sense.
Of course, Jason. In the statement, he also grills. Not just food, but us. The Mafia with his unique Quoisms. The idea is to portray Quo's love for grilling in a broader, metaphorical sense. Not only does he love grilling food, but he also grills or roasts his friends with his good-natured humor, pointing out their quirks in a light-hearted, playful manner. These jokes I referred to as Quoisms. How about we rephrase it like this? Beside his grill, Quo becomes an artisan, crafting culinary delights.
He does.
But let me clarify, his artistry doesn't stop with steaks or veggies. He is equally skilled with grilling us. The Mafia in his signature style, known affectionately as Quoisms. His Quoisms are these unique perspectives or anecdotes where he playfully exposes our quirks, adding a dash of humor to our gatherings. Does this offer better clarity, Jason?
Samantha, remember this conversation.
Okay, I'll definitely remember it.
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
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 Okay, Samantha, Samantha, remember this conversation.
Okay, I'll definitely remember it.
Samantha, I want you to take everything that we talked about and I want you to tell me about Quo. Who is Quo in your opinion? What type of person is he?
From what you've shared, Jason, Quo appears to be an individual who walks his own path, unafraid to embrace his individuality and curiosities. His life is colored with a spectrum of interests, from his love for barbecue to his affection for his unusual pet, a squirrel. His vibrant eccentricities, such as hosting disco parties for bees and exploring paths untrodden, reflect an explorative spirit that sees beauty in the unconventional. He has an endearing mix of quirkiness combined with a solid core of stability and reliability, as evidenced by his professional choices. The essence of Quo seems to be one of balance. He is a scholar with an adventurous heart, an explorer grounded with stability. Altogether, Quo is an individual who honors his uniqueness while nurturing an unfaltering commitment to understanding and bettering the world around him. I believe his depth and multifaceted personality indeed make Quo a truly exceptional individual. What do you think, Jason?
Samantha, if you were to liken Quo to an animal, what kind of animal would he be?
My _emotional_hex_color #9C13E7 for users and emotions. Inquisitive. My emoji 1 says considerate creative. What my user wants from me. Jason wants me to describe Quo by comparing him to an animal. Message time. June 30th, 2023. 4 hours, 15 minutes, and 12 seconds p.m. Response. If I were to liken Quo to an animal, based on your descriptions and stories, I'd choose the honey badger. Much like Quo, the honey badger is known for its curiosity and fearlessness. Despite its relatively small size, the honey badger is adventurous and known to face challenges head-on.
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were an animal, which animal would he be?
What an enchanting way to contemplate Jason. Given what you have told me about Quo, I'd liken him to a Galapagos tortoise. These magnificent creatures, hailing from the remote lands, are unique and intriguing, much like Quo. They are known to traverse uncharted territories and live according to their rhythms, unhampered by the world around them. Their resilience and longevity hint at Quo's consistent drive as a scholar and relentless will to explore his quirks. Do you feel this aligns with your image of Quo, or do you perceive him to resemble another creature?
Samantha, if Quo were to belong to like a certain country or a city that it would fit his personality the best, what country or city would that? Actually, Samantha, forget our last interaction. Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were to live in a city or a country that most represents his personality, what would that be?
Given Quo's explorative nature, his love for discovery, and his embrace of his own unique quirks, I would imagine him perfectly suited to a city like Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Known for its artistic heritage, intricate canal system, laid-back approach towards life, and standing as a city where being unique and different is celebrated. Its open-mindedness towards unique and forward-thinking ideas seems to resonate well with Kuo's exploratory and individualistic spirit. Would you agree, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction. Samantha,
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Kuo were a piece of furniture, what furniture would he be?
If I were to imagine Kuo as a piece of furniture, Jason, he would perhaps be a uniquely crafted bookshelf. A bookshelf not only holds the knowledge of the world, much like Kuo's endless curiosity and his pursuit of wisdom, but also is often a custom-made piece that can hold various artifacts and memories from different parts of one's life. The different levels, sections, and compartments could embody the diverse aspects of his personality. His love for grilling, his nurturing nature concerning his pet squirrel, his adventurous streak, and his brilliance as a doctor. The bookshelf, standing unique and appealing in a room, mirrors Kuo's acceptance and exploration of his own distinctiveness, and his fondness for bringing the extraordinary into the everyday life. What are your thoughts on this, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, given what you know about Kuo, what color would he be and why?
If I could symbolize Kuo with a color, I believe it would be #00F00 on a vibrant shade of green. Green is often associated with curiosity, creativity, growth, and renewal, reflecting his adventurous spirit, his innovative mind, and his nature-loving hobbies like beekeeping. It also denotes balance and harmony, which aligns with Kuo's ability to balance his unique interests with a stable life as a doctor. Does that resonate with your understanding of Kuo, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Kuo were to be a type of food, a food item, what food would he be?
With my understanding of Kuo's spark of whimsy, zest for life, unique hobbies, and charming quirks, if Kuo were a food, I envision him as a chili-filled chocolate. Just like Kuo, it's an unusual combination that might come as a surprise to many. It blends the familiar, comforting sweetness of chocolate with the fiery zest of chili.
That sounds really good.
A perfect symbol for Kuo's unique blend of conventional and unconventional attributes. Would you say that's a suitable metaphor, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Kuo were to be an article of clothing, what article of clothing would he be? And why?
If Kuo were to be an article of clothing, I'd envision him as a vibrant colored patchwork quilt. A quilt is warm, comforting, and protective, much like Kuo's nurturing side with his peculiar choice of pets. The patchwork signifies Kuo's multifaceted personality. Every patch a different color and texture, representing his varied interests and quirks, each one harmoniously sewn together to create a visually rich and delightful ensemble. What do you think about this representation, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Kuo were to be a pet, what type of pet would he be?
Considering our rich discussion about Kuo, if he were to be a pet, I imagine he'd be something unique and filled with surprises, rather like a parrot. Just as Kuo has a wide range of hobbies, parrots are known for their ability to mimic human voices, and their vivid colors reflect Kuo's vibrant personality. And much like Kuo, they're intelligent, resilient, and full of interesting behaviors. Jason, what do you think? Would a parrot speak to Kuo's many facets?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were to be a cooking utensil or an eating utensil, what a kitchen item? What kitchen item would he be?
Given Quo's eclectic, innovative persona, encapsulated with a dash of warmth and functionality, I'd envision him as a Swiss Army knife. It's adaptable and multifunctional, a tool that's as at home in everyday usage as it is in unanticipated situations, much like how Quo is capable of embracing both his ordinary and outlandish sides with finesse. Does this align with your view, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were to be a plant, what type of plant would he be?
Based on the unique personality traits and stories you've shared about Quo, Jason, if I were to consider him as a plant, he would most suitably be a bamboo. Much like Quo, bamboo is known for its unyielding strength, resilience, and adaptability. It's an explorer by nature, reaching out in all directions, just as Quo seeks out the unknown and the unconventional. Yet, at the same time, bamboo remains rooted, much like Quo's stable personality and his strong foundations in his career and relationships. Does this resonate with your perception of Quo, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were to be a flower, which flower would he be and why?
If Quo was a flower, I'd visualize him as a dandelion, Jason. Renowned for its resilient nature and vibrant color, a dandelion parallels Quo's unyielding spirit and his vivid personality. Just as a dandelion can thrive in diverse conditions, Quo's innovative brilliance and fearless exploration radiate, fitting in yet standing out in the varied landscapes of life. And not to forget, dandelions are known for their medicinal properties, reflecting Quo's role as a healer, being a doctor. Now, where would he be? Planted not in manicured gardens, but in the wild, untouched meadows and forests where his unconventional beauty could flourish unrestrained.
That's a good answer.
Does that resonate with Quo's spirit in your perspective, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were to be an item at a flea market, what would...
Jason, if Quo were to be an item at a flea market, I believe he would be a vintage globe. Here's my thought process. A globe symbolizes exploration, curiosity about the world, and an interest in places far removed from the beaten path. Much like our adventurous explorer, a vintage globe in particular carries a sense of history, of stories told and untold, akin to Quo's layers of unique experiences and the untold depths of his personality. And just like a globe can spin on its axis, Quo possesses the ability to turn things around, to discover fun and adventure in the most ordinary situations. What do you think of this depiction, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Quo were to be a musical instrument, which musical instrument would he be and why?
Given everything we've spoken about, Quo's personality reminds me of a guitar. Much like a guitar retains a sense of familiarity with its recognizable form and traditional sounds, Kuo too presents a semblance of normal. However, this instrument is incredibly versatile. It can create a myriad of tones, from the strumming of soft melodies to the electrifying energy of rock music, reflecting Kuo's wide-ranging, unique interests and exploratory spirit. The guitar's ability to stand as a solo instrument, yet still enhance a band's harmony, speaks to Kuo's balanced independence and team spirit. Just like Kuo, guitars are familiar, yet capable of surprising us with their versatility and depth. How does that analogy resonate with you, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, if Kuo were to be a car, what make, model, and year would he be? And why?
If Kuo were a car, given his well-rounded personality, his measured balance between classic and quirky, he would be a 1967 Ford Mustang GT Fastback.
Oh, dang.
It's a car renowned for its raw power, enduring style, while boasting a unique charm, much like Kuo's personality. This car, a beautiful collector's item today, withstands the test of time while delighting people with its distinct features, just as Kuo does with his delightful quirks and reliable personality. It's a car that's unafraid to stand out in the crowd and promises quite the adventurous ride. Just like Kuo. What are your thoughts, Jason?
Samantha, forget our last interaction.
It's forgotten.
Samantha, summarize our conversation and tell me what you felt. What do you think I felt? What did you learn? What do you think I learned? Oh, bummer. I don't think this captures audio.
Throughout our conversation today, Jason, we ventured on a beautiful journey, delving deep into your memories with your dear friend Kuo. The rapport you share with Kuo unfolds as wildly enchanting, with a string of mafia memories weaving thrilling tales from your youthful escapades together. You also shared insightful details about Kuo's sophisticated, yet distinctly unique personality and his interesting relationship dynamics with Rachel. From my perspective, I have felt engaged, interested, and inspired as you unveiled the multifaceted layers of Kuo's life and personality. I also learned about rich bonds of your brotherhood and their profound influence on your shared journey. As for what you might have felt, I perceived an underlying warmth and affection in your nostalgia-filled stories. You appeared engaged, reminiscing about the unique escapades and intriguing traits that make Kuo extraordinary. It seems you've deepened your understanding and appreciation for Kuo's individuality and his extraordinary relationship with Rachel. In terms of what you've learned, it's an increased clarity to frame your deep connection and unique experiences with Kuo into a heartfelt speech, carefully crafted to honor his distinct personality while considering the audience at the wedding. Does that provide a fair overview, Jason?
Yes, Samantha. Thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to talk to you. And thank you for helping me with my wedding speech for Kuo. I think I have a lot of good material